Good morning. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. This is your host, Patrick Lee. We're going to talk today about uncertain times and how you can move forward with success in every area of your life. We will be back right after this. Man, I hope everyone is doing good today with the show this week. And for the next couple of weeks, we are recording and then airing right after at the 10 o'clock slot. So this show has been pre-recorded, so live comments will show up once it's posted on social media. You can comment on it during the show on social media. I will not be able to respond, but I will respond to you right after the show. However, and within just a couple of weeks, this will be live with live comments as well. Little platform issues that we're dealing with right now for a couple of weeks, and it's all good. It's all good. A lot of things going on right now in the country, in your life, in your business. And in the previous show, we talked about some toxic personality traits. Today, with special guest Frank Gordoa, great show. A lot of people really loved that show and interacted with that one. And today, I want to talk to you about some personal things going through life in uncertain times, and maybe a coping mechanism that will help you change the way you relate, the way you interpret, and the way you move forward in some of the things that are going on in our nation and in the world today. And I'm going to talk to you today, basically out of an article in Success Magazine. A motivational speaker, life coach, incredibly successful person, Aaron King, wrote an article about how to deal with stress and continuous uncertainty in America today. And I think it's a very good time to share that with you and her take on this and how to move forward in these kind of uncertain times is using something that we would normally possibly think as a negative in someone's life, a personality trait. And the personality trait we talked about in the previous show, of course, was narcissism. And that is an extreme sense of pride. That is a negative personality trait. And this one, we're going to use the of sometimes perceived negative personality trait of audacity. And we're going to talk about that today and how that can help you change, how that can get you unstuck in life and help you deal with stress and potentially move forward with much more direction, with much more faith and motivation in your life, business, and relationships. In times of stress and continuous uncertainty, especially in America right now, with new COVID variants coming up, with the heated political environment and climate that we are experiencing right now, midterm elections coming up, people on the left up in arms, people on the right up in arms, people unsure about what to do with the economy. I'm in real estate. People are unsure what to do in the real estate market. Should I buy? Should I sell? Should I hold on to my home right now and hope the market doesn't crash? Oh, wait, the market is crashing. Oh, no, wait, the market's not crashing. We're simply seeing some corrections that were needed and necessary. So that's good. In your business, should I open up another franchise? Should I buy new equipment? All of these things are slowing people down. We're getting stuck in these ruts of how do I proceed? I'm really just unsure. Maybe you can make better decisions by ghosting your rule following personality, the one that you've had in the past. For decades, I was known as a good boy. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a good boy. I'm a mighty good man. And through the years, I have learned to toss some of those good boy mannerisms. And it's not that I'm taking on a bad boy demeanor or personality. It's simply learning to live with, grow, and adapt to our surroundings in order to still be a good, honest, trustworthy person, but not be so conformed or so bent on conforming that I am of no effect, that I do not achieve the goals that I want to achieve in my life, in my business, in my relationships. These things that are changing in me, I want to change in you. We've talked about big, hairy, audacious goals. And there's that word again, audacity. The BHAG. I'm in a group of real estate agents called the Honey Badgers. And John Kitchens, one of the best coaches, go to @John Kitchens Coach on Instagram. Look him up here on Facebook. John Kitchens, Ironman competitor, dynamic guy, talks about the BHAG all the time. What is your big, hairy, audacious goal? And we would say eat the frog. If there's a big, fat, ugly, hairy frog, and that's the one thing standing between you and your goal, eat the frog first and then move forward. That's an audacious thing to do. So learning to ditch that inner good kid and start leading with audacity may be something that would help you achieve the things you want in life. A lot of things are going on in the world right now, and we talked about that with COVID. I've been making a lot of trips back and forth out to Oregon to visit my mother and my family. My daughter just got back from another trip. And over the past couple of years, with the trips back and forth to Oregon during a pandemic with the COVID outbreak, and no matter what your opinion of that is, whether it's real, whether it's fake, whether people are truly sick, whether people are truly dying from that, or if they're dying from other things, and they're all being lumped into this category of COVID. It doesn't matter what our beliefs are. My beliefs or your beliefs are important to us. But the fact of the matter is, during these times of uncertainty, many different rules and regulations have been put in place by the government, both federal and state, about how you can travel, about mask mandates, whether you're for them or against them. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to you. And that's what matters to you is what's important to you. What matters to me is what's important to me, to my relationships and my family. So there are many places I would travel, and to go in somewhere, you would have to wear a mask. To fly on the airplane, you would have to wear a mask. Some places were forcing people to provide to require proof of vaccination, whether you're for or against the vaccine. If you want to take the jab, that's on you, not on me. I don't, and that's now you know where I stand. I don't. I'm against it. I'm an anti-vaxxer. Am I sick, weak, puny, depleted? No, I am strong, vibrant, and healthy, and have been unvaccinated since my childhood. The previous vaccines that were mandated as a child, measles, polio, mumps, diphtheria, all of those things in the past were real vaccines that were necessary. Proud to have those. A lot of vaccines now that are coming out are untested. They're experimental, and I just choose not to. I choose not to put the chemicals in my body, and I remain healthy and strong because of that, in my opinion. Your opinion is yours, mine are mine. So I'm getting into this article. This article is all about what we're talking about today. Constant risk assessment, disordered routines, daily moving targets, influencing even the most basic of decisions means that for many of us, every small decision suddenly feels more than intimidating. It feels exhausting. Has life been wearing you down? Man, it's worn me down a little bit, but I choose not to let that happen. I choose to happen to life instead of letting life happen to me. Are you a participant? Or are you a spectator? Life happens to spectators, and you just sit there and watch it happen. If you become a participant, you happen to life. You make your rules. You go out and live your life. You happen to life. Don't let life happen to you. Every small decision suddenly feels more intimidating. It feels exhausting. According to a 2021 study by the American Psychological Association, nearly a third of all adults were so stressed about the coronavirus that they struggled to make basic decisions, as small as deciding what to wear that day based on where they were going or where they could go eat. Is that not pitiful? That you live in so much fear, you're so stressed out, you're so burdened down by the cares of the world and life and conforming to what society is telling you you have to do, that you can't decide what to eat or what to wear? Do you want to live life that way? I don't. I don't think any of you watching the show do. With the ground under our feet constantly shifting and the rules being rewritten on a weekly or even daily basis, many of us suffer the side effects of constant uncertainty. Luckily, there's an underutilized trait we can all dust off. It's in our quiver of tools, our quiver of arrows. It's in our tool bag. And that will help us wrangle back our pre-pandemic decision-making proficiency. And that's called audacity. What is audacity? Some of you don't know the word. Let me read the definition to you from Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster defines audacity as simply this: a bold and daring quality that is sometimes shocking or possibly rude, such as she had the audacity to show up to the party uninvited. A willingness to take bold risks. Her audacity came in handy during our most recent emergency. Great example. Sometimes it's called disrespectful behavior or impudence. She had the audacity to pick up the receiver and tell me to hang up the phone call. She had the audacity to wear the exact same dress to the party, knowing I was wearing that dress to the party. Can you believe the nerve of that person? Acting out bold, strong, in your own best interest. It's called audacious. Taking huge steps and huge risks to move forward in life is called audacious. Those are audacious moves. That's simply another form of the word audacity. What if a little audacity is exactly what we need to restore our confidence? Maybe you're lacking in confidence because of the way life has worn you down. Maybe you think your choices are weak and you don't trust yourself anymore. The next time you struggle with making some decisions, try one of these 5 audacity activators to override your pandemic paralysis and step back into your decision-making mastery. One of these, the things that we talk about here on the show, I've shared with you in the past, is something that happens to a lot of us when we become afraid to make a decision and you start overthinking it. And we call that the paralysis of analysis. You overthink something to the point that instead of making a good decision or a bad decision, you don't make any decision. You think that's a good thing? I don't think so. I think making a good decision is important, but one of the things I've learned about life is in order for me to make good decisions, I usually have to learn first by making some bad decisions. But if you have made a decision, good or bad, you will at least be able to move forward in confidence that you made a decision. If it's the right decision and everything works out for you, that's wonderful. If it's a bad decision, at least you can identify that quickly, reverse your decision, and move forward. Right? It's ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Here's how we make a good decision. Either make a good one or make a bad one and learn from the bad one. Nothing is a mistake if you learn from it, right? We say that all of the time. So, number one of the best ways for you to exercise a little bit of audacity in this fear-based world that we're living in right now. Face your fake news fears. Number one. Often what you're afraid of is a false narrative that's neither true nor helpful in sustaining forward momentum. You're listening to the news. You're watching, a lot of people call it the fake news. And then the people on the left call conservative news the fake news. It's all made up and it's sensationalized. It's not real. The people on the right call the regular news media the fake news. But what we have learned, every one of you have learned over the last 2 years, that the news is bought and paid for. Okay? The news is bought and paid for. It's sponsored by somebody, and anyone who sponsors something has some control in what is being shared so that it fits the narrative of what they want you to see, to think, and to believe. So facing your fake news fears is one way for you to start practicing a little audacity. The next time you're spiraling from dread, objectively look at your reasons. Are these objective facts or subjective feelings? Making a list of facts versus feelings is more effective than pros and cons to empower your assertiveness and avoid your next sticky scenario. We use this tool on the show all the time. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, write down what you're hearing on one side, decipher that, and determine if that's a fact or a feeling on the other side. Instead of a pro or a con, write down what they're telling you and then write down how that makes you feel. Do you feel like that's truth, or is that something you need to research? If you need to research it, do so. If you feel like it's something you just need to flush, here's an audacity trip for you. Flush it. Choose not to believe it. Turn off that news channel. Start getting your news from someone else. You'll hear it all the time when you sit down in a restaurant. Did you hear the latest numbers? Oh, COVID's on the rise. Oh my gosh, there's a new variant coming out. It's going to kill us all. Are you going to choose to live in fear of that because someone said that fake news reported something like that? Or are you going to go directly to find your facts from someone else? Start questioning the truth behind where you get your news. This one we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. One of the things that I am actively practicing and have been for the last couple of years is called ghosting your inner good kid. What does that mean? I want people to believe that I'm a good person. You can still be a good person. We used to call the good people the goody two shoes. Remember that? Oh, she's a goody two shoes. He's a goody two shoes. And maybe I'm just telling my age. A lot of people don't say that anymore. They may just call you a goody goody. They used to call it a square back in the old days. Man, he was square, Daddy-O, I tell you, because they never did anything bold. They never did anything that would be perceived negatively. You're so busy trying to be perceived as 100% good, positive, and wholesome that you don't do anything with your life. You just wallow in that perception other people have of you. You're not happy in that. You're just a rule follower. If you don't ever break any rules, you seldom make history. In more normal times, being the kid who follows the rules meant rewards for good behavior. But when the rules are a moving target, changing daily, the rule makers don't have a clear roadmap. How are you supposed to have a clear roadmap? Sometimes it's better to authorize yourself to make your own decisions. Like I said, the best way to learn how to make good decisions is making some bad decisions. Nothing you do is wrong if you learn from it. Let me change that a little bit. That's not what I mean. People can do wrong, but nothing you do is a mistake if you learn from that mistake. Okay? In life, we're going to make bad decisions, but when you learn from that, it actually becomes a stepping stone for you to move forward in life and make better decisions. So always being the goody-goody, always being the rule follower. We can't challenge that rule. This is the way it's always been done. The people that make history are the ones that take a chance, that step out on faith, that get a belief and they follow that belief and they move forward. That's audacity. The audacity is the step for you to break away from the norm, make bold decisions for yourself, things that you know will positively affect you, your family, your relationships, and your business. Become a little more audacious. Number 3, become a bad listener. Learn to become a bad listener. And this is one that I pride myself on now because I am learning to turn off the negative voices, to turn off the fake news, to turn off listening to the people that are not in my top 5. There are going to be voices out there, and they're going to want to sway you one way or another. Are you going to continue to listen to them, or are you going to turn them out? Tune them out. Turn down the volume of the people around you that are not for you. Everyone that's with you is not for you. Don't forget that. We've all heard the age old accolades bestowed on the world's best listeners, but in a world where we're subjected to constant digital inputs that impact our real life outputs, sometimes listening can be lethal. You got to learn how to ditch that. I've been proud of myself for learning to be an active, good listener in years past. You sit on the edge of the seat, you lean in, you don't lean back. You actively watch the person speak. You ingest what they're saying to you, and you determine if it's truth to you or not, if it bears witness with your spirit or not, if it's having that positive impact on you that you need. And I'm learning to turn those voices off when they don't fit the narrative of what I'm looking for in life, the goals I'm chasing after in life. I've learned to turn them off. I'm becoming a bad listener to some people. There are multiple negative voices out there, and they're surrounding you and pounding on you every day, wanting you to fit in with what they say, wanting you to follow their lead. Are you a leader or a follower? Lead, follower, get out of the way is what I say. Unfollow the untrusty sources and the things that exacerbate your anxiety. If every time you go to a website and you go there to listen for news and you become anxious and scared, you need to turn it off or take action, one of the two. But if it's constantly scaring you, if you go to a social media platform and all it does is attack you, your psyche is drained and worn out. Maybe you need to turn that off. Maybe you need to change where you're getting your news, where you're getting your social media input. Or maybe you need to take a break from social media altogether till you get your act together. Number 4, feel jealous to find genius. We're taught to believe that jealousy is a toxic emotion to be avoided at all costs. And yes, unhealthy comparison can zap you of your joy. But is jealousy really that bad of a personality trait? I've experienced jealousy lately, just because someone I wanted to talk to was spending time talking to someone else. Is that petty? I was like, hey, we were having a conversation here, and you just turned around and started talking to someone else like I wasn't even there. And it was a good friend, and I felt this pang of jealousy, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, we were talking here. And I shouldn't be that petty, but a little bit of jealousy helps you realize, hey, we were talking here. And I actually turned around and told this other person, excuse me, we're having a conversation. And when we're done, we'd love to turn around and talk to you too. Please don't just come up and take someone away from the conversation. And maybe that was audacious of me. Maybe I practiced a little audacity because you have to. A little bit of jealousy goes a long way. Hey, if someone's looking at my wife, and I'm kind of proud of that, because no one wants to be married that no one else looks at, right? There you go. My wife's a hottie. So if someone's looking at my wife, I'm gonna take notice, and I'm gonna look at them, and I'm gonna say, I notice that you notice. Let's keep it in check. Because that little bit of if you don't have some jealousy for your spouse, some jealousy for your friends and your close relationships, then you know what good are you? But we've been taught to believe that jealousy is toxic. A little bit of jealousy is good because it becomes protective. And I would say a little bit more jealousy in order to protect, to a strong degree, your relationships, people in your inner circle. I believe that is a good thing. Just don't let it get out of check. Don't let it get out of control. Healthy competition isn't the same as unhealthy comparison with other people. Paying attention to these little pangs of good job, now let's go, is something that we need to do. Take notice when someone does a good job and say, hey man, I think that person may have even done something a little better than I can at that. I need to step up my game. That's a good little bit of jealousy. You jealous of someone else's success? Congratulate them for that success, celebrate them, and watch that overbearing part of jealousy go away. And then you turn that around on yourself and say, I need to step up my game. Is that audacious for you to say, oh my gosh, someone did better than me, I need to do better? Maybe it is. Maybe that's the good part of audacity you need to learn. Deep down, you truly want to make decisions that help you move forward in life, and I believe that. But if you're not practicing the art of audacity, will you ever make those decisions to move forward? And finally, cape up so you don't cop out. This is the last part of this talk on audacity. In these times that we're living in, many of us have had moments of doubt that we didn't experience pre-pandemic. When we find ourselves insecure about our intuition, uncertain how to proceed, it's in these moments we need to put our cape on. Cape up. You're a superhero. We've talked about this before. Become your own superhero. I'm glad that she brought this same topic up in her article here. Erin King, success author, Erin King, in the latest edition of Success Magazine. Can you borrow someone else's superpower as a bridge to help you take the first step? Maybe you're not feeling audacious. Maybe you don't feel like you have the audacity to stand up and stand out and stick up for yourself. Maybe you can borrow a little bit of the superpower of a close friend who is audacious enough to stand up for themselves, who has been telling you to do the same thing for you. Borrow some of their tenacity, some of their grit, some of their stamina, their dogged determination, and their belief in you. Borrow their cape until you can put on your own cape. Putting on your cape doesn't mean pretending to be someone else or attempting to copy someone else, but instead it means simply looking around at your network, your top 5, observing those you feel are moving forward with smart choices like you are, choices that make sense to you, and channel their clarity to help you get clarity. If they're making audacious steps in their life, follow their lead. Learn to take these audacious steps in your life. In times of chaos and doubt, such as we have in America today, the one thing you do not need to doubt is yourself. You also don't have to take the same tired advice you've always thought was the best guidance in the past. You can think, feel, and act audaciously. You can reignite your momentum using audacity, even if the one you're sometimes shocking the most is yourself. Hey guys, I hope this has helped you today. This has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation. We will be back next week, same time, same place. If this show has helped you at all today, helped you find some success in life, helped you get some clarity in the things that you have going on, share it. Like, love, and share the show with your friends. I've been reading so many books lately. I've just recently got in some copies of Ed Milet's Power of One More. I've been talking about that. Like, love, and share the show today with your friends. And someone today is going to win a copy of The Power of One More, Ed Milet's book. It's phenomenal. I've read it multiple times now since it came in, my first edition. And I've already shared a couple of copies with some close friends in my life that I got them for. And someone today is going to get a copy of The Power of One More from Ed Milet. If you like, love, and share the show, and leave a comment in the comments that says, hey, I shared the show. And that will put you in the running to get a free copy of the book. I believe it'll change your life like it's changing mine. Also, I do this show for free for you each and every week. If you would love to pay me back and you're in one of my markets or an area where I have a real estate network, I'd love to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate, help you buy a home or sell a home, or get into some investment properties. Click on the link in the comments below this video to my digital business card, www.patricklee.work. Get an appointment in my calendar. I'd love to talk to you about that. Until next week, this has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live saying, hey, comfort begins at the edge of your comfort zone.